It's time to take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy.
It's time to take a TO with coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Be sure to listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and other popular podcast platforms. We also bring you Inside the Podcast each week, where you can view the podcast via our YouTube channel. Join the thousands who watch each week. Thanks to our partners, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, the Insurance Alliance Group LLC, our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, Peace Players International, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and Collins Funeral Home. And our donors, Justin O'Neill, Winsight Media, and Redwood Investments. Take a TO with Coach Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
We haven't talked about the fact that's a pretty hot intro. The music behind that intro is pretty good, I think. Anyway, welcome to episode 19 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I am Kurtis Cross, your host, and with me as always are coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Each week, we invite you to the table and into the studio for our podcast where we discuss high school, college, and pro sports, along with the occasional conversation that we feel must be had. We enjoy mixing it up, hosting a variety of guests, and building our listening and viewing audience. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and just about anywhere podcasts can be found. You can also come inside the studio via YouTube each week. Greetings to each of our listeners and viewers. This is episode 19. We'd like to thank our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Insurance Alliance Group LLC, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, and Healthy Baller. Last week, nearly 2,500 of you tuned in to our Fathers and Sons episode with Jared Turner and Cole O'Neill. From their choice in attending Gonzaga, where their fathers coach, to Cole's decision to transfer to Clemson and Jared's current success as a two-sport athlete, we encourage you to check out episode 18. Now, let's hear from our crew. Fellas, how are we doing this week? Coach O'Neill, how was the weekend, sir?
Weekend was fantastic. But you just mentioned that show with Jared, Cole. That was a great show. That was really cool.
Was it fun?
It was a lot of fun. And you know what? I think as young men, talking to Cole, he's like, how'd it sound? How'd I do? Both those boys just made us so proud. And Adam, he was fantastic. He was fantastic. A young fella.
Young buckaroo.
Yeah, look, my heart goes out to those young buckaroos. But going back to that episode, and then just looking at that number, episode 18, and here we are at 19, and we got two great young men tonight. So,
but your weekend though, tell us about your weekend. Had beautiful weather all weekend. Did you golf?
I played a lot of golf this weekend.
Good man.
I played a lot of golf this weekend. Had a great weekend, but just excited to be in the studio, ready to rock and roll, baby.
Coach Turner, you had beautiful weather too. How did you spend Did you get on the grill?
I ended up not getting on the grill actually.
Okay, all right.
But I just relaxed, man. Just hung out. A little celebrating. I think the country had a big celebration going on.
All right, a lot of cities.
And just enjoyed relaxing, hanging out, re-listening to the podcast because it's definitely fun to have our sons on there and just to hear them and their messages that they sent out and what they've gone through and playing for us and being a student in school and Adam, man. You better watch out. He's going to be taking the mic away from you.
He might. It's okay. It's all right.
I had multiple people reach out listening to that episode just to say how proud they were of all the young men, but just how cool that was. So kudos to the production team and everybody putting that together and making it happen.
Gentlemen, it was your idea. It was an excellent idea. We made it happen in episode 18. Guess what? Back in the engineer seat is none other
Let's go.
than DJ Krissy. How's it going, girl?
Woo! It's good to be back.
Well, you're here.
I'm sorry I missed the episode last week.
I mean, wait a
was
minute.
a
Wait,
bunch of
she's our
fun.
engineer. She didn't even listen to it?
I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. All right. You listened, but you weren't here. Yeah, the chair was, you were not in the chair, Krissy.
I was not. I'm glad to be back.
There's been some
We're
fireworks
gonna have some fun.
recently in the studio.
But the audience didn't hear it. You make it seem like it was like some big to-do. What happened?
I don't know.
Nothing.
The starting five, I guess, happened. And
Whatever. Whatever.
Did somebody get dinged?
I always get, it always comes on this side. It always does. But I embrace it. Let's go.
All right, so
Welcome back,
Krissy
Krissy.
is back. Yes, she is back. We are excited for this week's episode as we go from I Street to the Ivy League with two former Purple Eagles. These two interviews, the 2-minute drill with Joey T, and of course, our weekly sports wrap-up are all coming your way today in episode 19. As a reminder, in 2 weeks, the ladies are taking a TO, which means the wives are taking over our Thanksgiving episode. I cannot imagine what this episode is going to be like, but you probably don't want to miss that one. The windows are open because I hear an airplane out there right now. Let's go to break and we are coming right back. O'Neill Development is a construction, remodeling, and development firm that has been active in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore since 1975. O'Neill Development specializes in custom residential work, providing extensive pre-construction and construction services. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310.
Be sure to listen at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Download the app and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
Coach Turner here. Check out this week's episode drop and tell a friend to join the team at Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill by following, subscribing, and liking the show. One headline is brought to you by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
Gentlemen, I've got one statement for you. The headline of the week. Madam Vice President Kamala Davy Harris.
You know, I've mentioned this many times, being the father of two young ladies. And when my wife, and I don't care what anybody says about what side of party, okay, or what they grew up or this or that. For her to just say, I can't believe we have a woman vice president. Can't believe it. And to see her explain that to these young ladies. Chloe's 11 and Claire's 6. It's pretty freaking special, man. It's pretty special. And like I said, I if people, because I can't look at the Facebook and the Twitter and the people's politics and everything, but if they can't appreciate that, then I pray for you.
You know, there were several historic times in our life, for whatever reason, whether it be, financial news or sports news, political news. But there are 3 times I remember, very specifically. I was a student at Howard University. Young lady came running through the yard. We're going to have a woman mayor with Sharon Pratt Dixon.
Yep.
And then I walked next door. My mom used to live next door to us. I walked next door in 2008, and my mother was crying. Obama was elected. Mm-hmm. And then a couple days ago, a woman, there's a lot of people on both sides. Again, I don't get into all of that. But lost in a lot of it is that there's a woman of color in the second highest office in the land in the next 75 days, Coach Turner.
I guess I go back today looking at some posts, whether it be on Instagram, on Facebook, and to be proud as the pictures depicted Rosa on the bus to now Madam Harris in the White House. Like, we've gone as a country through a lot of crazy changes, and to see this moment happening in my lifetime, like, you can't put a price tag on it. I don't have any daughters, but my niece is like my daughter, and for her to be able to have a person to look to and look up to strive to be, I don't know. That's why I said this weekend was about celebration in more ways than one, and I'm excited. I'm excited for our change, and I'm excited to see where they take us.
For the greater part of last week, we watched nothing but election coverage, and day by day, results were reported. The needle moved from one candidate to the other, one presidential ticket to the other. I won't champion or critique anyone's choice in a political party or presidential ticket. I do believe that the past 4 years have been tough for immigrants, tough for women, tough for Black Americans, and tough all around. We're trying to navigate a pandemic, an election, and all that comes with it. How do we educate our children to wondering what the new normal will eventually look like with this pandemic? What I do further know, Cori Bush, the first Black woman elected to represent Missouri in Congress. Richie Torres and Mondaire Jones, the first openly gay Black men to be elected to Congress. Marilyn Strickland, the first Korean American ever elected to Congress, and the first Black woman to represent Washington State in Congress. New Mexico's entire House delegation is now made up of women of color. These are just a few of the firsts that our nation and its states voted for. America voted for change, and at the top of that change on the national level, Jill Biden will be the first lady to have a paying job outside of the White House. She's a professor at American University. And of course, Kamala Harris is the first woman of color to ascend to the office of Vice President of the United States. These and other firsts that we witnessed last week equal a win for diversity across our land, in a political arena, and hopefully in the homes of the Americans who will now see someone in a position of power who looks like them. That is your one headline.
I'm Coach Casey O'Neill with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Advertising opportunities are available, so why not gain the exposure of our listeners by becoming a donor, sponsor, or partner? Simply contact our producer, Kurtis Cross, and we can get you started today.
Thanks to our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, Peace Players International, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and Collins Funeral Home. Our donors, Redwood Investments, Justin O'Neill, donor, and Winsight Media.
Winsight Media, connecting the food and allied retail industries through research, media, and events. Visit www.winsightmedia.com for more info.
Redwood Investments. We are a private investment firm providing growth capital for acquisitions, roll-ups, and management-led buyouts. Visit redwoodinvestments.com or call 202-333-1395.
If you have a question for the fellas, submit your question or show idea right on our website. Go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship level contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Friends of the Podcast. Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. The starting five. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our starting five. 5 questions for each coach. They get 30 seconds each to answer the question. They can defer once per set of starting 5. And Krissy, if Coach O'Neill goes over his time, as he always does, what happens? You get dinged, fella.
That's right. Round one. Let's go.
Right. You putting your dukes up? All I know is I got $1 from you last week.
I know. I added a little extra there. I
little
felt
extra?
bad that I started with 96 cents, so I added an extra 5 cents.
All right. Coach O'Neill, if you could invite 4 famous people to dinner, name those 4 people.
Whoa. 4 famous people to dinner.
Right.
Man. Okay. You know, I'm going to defer. Go ahead, Coach.
I mean, right off the break, he's going to defer. All right, 4 famous people, sir. You're inviting them to dinner. Who are those people?
Are they living? Anybody living?
I thought you deferred.
I'm getting
I was
ready.
going to ask that question, so it's okay that he asked it.
Right, so you go ahead and ask us, so we'll take away your time, not his time.
Steve.
When I wrote it, I was thinking living. But
Okay.
Well, can you clarify that?
you want to put it in a sentence? You want to use the
I
word in a
just want to
sentence?
say, do you want him living, or it can be anybody?
I want him living.
Okay. Number 44,
All right.
Mr. Obama.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, this is going to be a tough one, Coach. You're killing me on this.
You might have to give him extended time. It's overtime, Chris. It's overtime.
Wow.
That's a tough question.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I can come back. I can go 2, 3, 4, 5 and come back.
No. Ooh, why'd you give this the first one, Kurtis?
I'm going to go. I'll give mine. I haven't thought about it. I'll go 44. I'll go Kamala. I will go Phil Jackson. And I will go Minister Farrakhan.
I like that. I'm going to go back to start. Number 44, Obama.
Casey's loving you. He gets to think this through.
This is tough. You know what? I'm deferring back. How about that?
All right, we'll go to number 2. We'll come back to
No,
that.
I have mine, and I've
right.
been going through, and I love 44. Love somebody like Michael Jordan. You know, athletes I'm thinking about. I'm going people. I don't care what you say. I'm going Erica, Cole, Claire, Chloe. That's my 4
I ain't mad at you. I am not mad at you. They're superstars in your house, right?
every night.
All right.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
But that's guaranteed. They're going to be at the party. You're bringing them to see these 4 people that we're talking about.
Right.
Come on, Coach O'Neill. But I love it. Family is always first.
I mean, I'd love to sit down with Tiger. I'd love to sit.
I mean,
down
and
with
that was going to
Nick Saban.
that was
dinner.
going to
I
be
mean,
my
all
next.
those.
Come on, you're
things-
cutting in now.
Okay, here we go.
Swing the club all week and he done lost it.
And the Masters are coming up.
So you just name my second, Tiger Woods. This is one that maybe people don't know, or maybe don't know enough about, but I've been studying him a lot lately. Mav Carter. He's one of LeBron's teammates who LeBron put on, and I've just watched how he's built what I'm calling their mini empire to a certain degree, and I just listen to him speak, and I love a lot of the things he has to say, and I like the platforms that he's building, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to find a way to mimic, and would love at some opportunity to hopefully speak to him. Like, I really would love to speak to him about what I'm watching him do, because I think it's pretty fascinating. So that would be 3. And number 4, Greg Popovich.
Pop.
That's good.
Biggest pet peeve.
Their lack of communication and transparency.
Biggest pet peeve. Mine is selfishness.
Not looking somebody in the eye.
You've talked about that a couple times on this episode. Number 3, one has to go. The Nationals World Series Championship in 2019, Redskins Doug Williams Super Bowl in 88, or the Cap Stanley Cup in 2018.
Oh my gosh.
You want me to go first? So I can name that.
What one's got to go?
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be a Super Bowl, especially one like that.
42-10.
you're going to, I guess the Nats, because the Caps one was the first in so long that
Okay.
it was just that momentous occasion.
And I feel like you and Cole.
I guess the Nats, but the Nats that's baseball. So I'll go with the Nats, but I feel terrible. Go ahead, Steve.
For me, no way the Skins. At that time, the Skins. I can
Right.
call them that right
Right.
now. No way the Capitals. Those have always been my teams.
Right.
We didn't have a baseball team for a good portion of my life, and I'd become a Nats fan because they are the local team, and I love the local team. But
I feel the same
I was
way.
an O's fan before Nats
Right.
fan, so the easiest one for me to eliminate would be the Nats.
But the 87 Super Bowl was kind of, it was the scab season, but everything. It was Timmy Smith in that game. It was Doug Williams.
Timmy Smith ran like 300.
He broke the record.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
somebody else broke it, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Like, who is this guy?
It's
Right,
crazy.
Timmy Smith. All right, more epic moment. Tiger's first Masters in 97. Kobe's final game, April 13th, 2016, with 60 points. Dwight Clark's 1981 catch.
Whew.
At least tell me they were good.
Oh, 3 great ones.
Those are good ones.
3 great ones, but I guess for me, in terms of who I've been such a strong fan of, I got to go with Tiger.
Tiger, 1997.
Darn it, I agree. I totally agree, because you come on the scene and to make that moment, to be Tiger Woods, to be a minority in Augusta, and to shatter the record
Minus 18.
to absolutely just come on the scene. Kobe has been doing it for years, right?
Right.
Dwight Clark, that's a catch. To do what Tiger did in Augusta, yeah, there's
To see him
like it.
walk after he hit
I
that
mean-
last stroke to his father.
And
Right.
absolutely just pound the rest of the field.
When he hit that and he won, I'll never forget his caddy gave him a hug, and you can read his lips. I'm so happy for you, is what he said.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Very cool.
That's a good one.
Very cool.
All right. Aside from, this is a tough one too. Aside from your family, you get to grab 5 things from your home before leaving it forever. What 5 things do you get?
This is back to me again.
Back to you, brother. I'm going to tell you what I wrote mine down.
Okay.
Hard drive of my family photos, because I have a huge hard drive with all of our photos. Our safe with the cash, firearms, and critical family documents. It's all in one safe. My son's awards, my daughter's awards, and my cell phone. Those are the 5 things I take. Coach O'Neill, what are you taking?
The photos.
Right?
Number 1. There's a couple little items, right? We got to get out of the house quick. My daughters have their little stuffed animals. That each of them have one, right? It's
Right.
like they're like their blanket stuffed animal thing. I have to get those.
You have to.
I have to. My Bible, got to get it, and make sure that some of the Erica jewelry, some special jewelry right there. Is that 4?
I think that's
You got
5.
one. You got one more.
I
You
got one more.
Pictures. Oh, the stuffed animals is 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making sure they got those, and
Okay.
then make my Bible, and then some of the jewelry, wedding ring and things like that. Oh man, and again, probably the cross right when you walk in our door. Grab that.
So you're not going to take the 20 by 34 mural of me.
It's already in my car. So because I'm in the car,
Ready to go.
Yeah. It's over in the.
Coach Turner, what 5 things? Besides, you're going to get Jared, you're going to get mother-in-law, you're going to get your mom if they're over, you're going to get Leah. If Christian's there, he's coming. That's family. What 5 things are you grabbing?
Definitely my pictures. I'm a
You are a picture guy.
I'm a picture guy. So between my pictures, photos, hard, anything photos, and it could be live pictures and stuff that's on a hard drive or on a computer. I'm gonna include it in the jewelry because I think that's important. Is all my rings. Mm-hmm. They can tell a story, even if I were to lose the balls that we've gotten done up and all that stuff.
Right.
But those rings will tell a story along with, of course, my wedding ring and any pertinent jewelry. That's 2, right?
That's 2. Photos and then jewelry.
And the ring. Oh yeah.
All pertinent paperwork. Social Security card.
Put them all in one place, sir.
They're already all in one place.
My man,
I
have an envelope labeled critical documents.
No, they're all in one place.
So you're talking birth certificate, Social Security.
Yes, all that. We're making sure we have all that. So that's 3. 2 would be 2 left. Number 4 would be I can't forget Pup Milo.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, can't forget Milo.
You better not have any pets. You left them behind, sir.
Oh, Harry Potter the fish. Sorry.
Can't forget Milo.
All right, that's 4.
And number 5.
His Hall & Notes cassette tape.
Nah, see, the blessing with the music, I can get that I can replace all my music.
So you're coming to my house.
I would.
So,
I probably would. Originally, I would have said my crates of my albums, but I can replace the music. That's not.
So
hard
the
to
phones
replace.
are on us, right?
Phones. I would say are on, and that's
Right.
replaceable because that's all in the iCloud now.
Right.
So I can get all that stuff back too. 5th. Ooh. That's a good one, guys. That's a good one.
We've thrown the buzzer out the window this week.
Yes, we did.
Definitely have, because Kurtis gave us these 30-second questions.
But still found a way to, yeah.
Where is it?
There it is.
Oh, wow. First shot, I hit it.
I'll take it. I'll take it. It's no biggie on that one. You know what? The ball from my first championship.
2008, right?
Yeah.
7, 8,
2008.
07, 08 season.
You know I love that championship, Verizon Center. I know where I was sitting. People have heard this story before, and we were never more proud to be a part of Purple Eagle Nation that night.
That was a special night. And
Let's talk to Wes about
I may
that.
piss some people off on this one. Politically, we were doomed for that game.
Yeah.
And I'm talking even to the folks of D.C.
Vincent Gray,
who, in my opinion, wanted us to lose.
right?
I'm just calling it out. I don't care. But I have to say, our main man, Mr. O'Malley, was there to support. To see him up in the stands with our student body, with A.J. Francis
That's right.
leading the charge, and him doing the cheers, those Purple Eagle cheers in the stands, that was a pretty special moment. I'll never forget that.
AJ Francis, you know what he's doing right now?
He's WWF.
WWE.
Yeah, WWE. Well, I knew that was going to happen from back in high school. He always said he wanted to do it. He had the character for it. There was no doubt in my mind that would eventually be a part of something he did or is doing in life. And sure enough, he's living it.
2008 Verizon Center. That was an awesome day. That was an awesome day.
You know,
Ladies
and the fact that you keep bringing it back. I'm sorry.
go for it, brother.
But they took that game away, and that's one of the best games I think ever to be a part of high school basketball in Washington, D.C., and we don't have that city title game anymore.
Oh, the city title.
It's a shame. We've gone to this D.C. States, which has been a great thing, but the history of the Catholic League versus the D.C. Public champion, like to lose that, we got to find a way to bring it back.
So, folks, for years, there was the Catholic School Champions, the WCAC champions would go against the DC champions, and then be called the DC City title game.
Yeah.
And that game is no longer. And again, they have the DC States, like you said, but you know, it's a little bit different. And clearly, from a coaching standpoint, you want to see it come back.
Not even just as a coach, just as a fan of the sport and what
There's so much
being able to.
history.
There's so much history. The people who played in that game, and I get some of the reasons why I heard maybe it was changed. Well, then change the name of the game, but don't take the game away from the kids.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting five. The starting five.
Hi, this is Coach Casey O'Neill, and I'm inviting you to join me, Coach Turner, in the Take a TO team for this Thursday's episode drop.
Since 1939, the Collins family has served families of Montgomery County and Greater Washington with dignified professional service in their time of need. We continue the same family tradition today at our funeral home located just off the Beltway in Silver Spring, Maryland. Our family of experienced funeral directors stand ready to assist you around the clock 365 days a year. Whether you wish to pre-plan or you have experienced a loss, please contact us to discuss how we can assist you at your time of need. Call 301-593-9500 or visit collinsfuneralhome.com.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship level contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Can you feel the power?
You become the star right here with the DJ Krissy Karaoke Show. Choose your song and step to the mic.
Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest is a senior captain for the Brown University Bears lacrosse program. Once a Purple Eagle here at Gonzaga, Luke McCaleb was a two-time lacrosse captain, a 2016 U.S. Lacrosse Academic All-American, and a varsity football captain as well. Winning 3 lacrosse championships at Gonzaga, we reunite Mr. McCaleb with his high school coach today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Luke McCaleb. Luke, how's it going, fella?
Going great.
All right, thanks for taking a TO with us today. We have a couple of coaches here who, well, they kind of know you, Luke, so please greet our guests, gentlemen.
Mr. McCaleb, Coach O'Neill here. How are you, my friend?
Great. How are you doing, Coach?
Awesome.
Luke, it's Coach Turner here. Excited to have you on today, man.
Coach Turner, how's it going?
Man, it's going pretty good. Thanks for taking some time out of your schedule to hang out with us tonight.
Of course, yeah. No, I was fired up to see it. I love what you guys have been doing, and when you first got it started earlier this summer, I was really, really excited, and it's been going great.
Thank you.
So, Luke, look, man, you achieved a great bit of success here as a Purple Eagle. I believe there were 3 WCAC championships. Now, with Ivy League play, it brings about multiple teams who are ready for prime time. How did playing in the WCAC prepare you for Ivy League play, you feel?
Absolutely, yeah. Since I was a freshman, the first thing I realized was I was so well prepared from coming from not only a historically unbelievable conference like the WCAC, but more importantly, coming from a place like Gonzaga. I mean, just playing the best competition in the country, day in and day out at Gonzaga, whether that be in practice or in the games we had, the level of play was so high, and the program itself. I mean, when I came in as a freshman, I knew you got to be putting in the extra work if you're going to want to play. You're going to need to be at every meeting 5 minutes early. You're going to need to do the little things that will separate you from the guy next to you. That's really going to make the impact, and that's really how I've succeeded, how my mindset has been since day one, and it's something I learned at Gonzaga.
Well, look, I mean, those little things become the big things, and it sounds like you learned that right here on I Street, huh?
Exactly.
Luke, Coach O'Neill here. It's great to hear your voice. Hard to believe the kind of year we've had here recently with all the things going on. But again, starting this podcast, I knew looking at Coach Turner, I was like, we are going to have Luke McCaleb on this podcast, one of these episodes. So one of the things,
glad to hear that.
One of the things I always brag about to others about you is the balance you have in your sport, your schoolwork, your social life, the energy you bring every single day. Luke, where does that come from? Where did that all kind of start with you about just being a cool customer in all the things that you do?
Yeah. One mindset that I've always had is never get too high, never get too low. There's going to be bad times, there's going to be good times, but as long as you stay level-headed and stay focused, like we were just talking about on the little things are going to work out well. And it really started, I mean, since I was a little kid, my parents taught me that. And then it really came to fruition at Gonzaga, where I was where I was put in places where at times I was uncomfortable. And, sometimes being uncomfortable leads to being comfortable. So that now that when I'm at Brown and when I've gotten older in my life, I went through those uncomfortable times, like when I was at Gonzaga. And so dealing with those tough times in the past has really prepared me. It's like practice. Doing it more and more and more is what leads to it. So, I mean, it may seem like I have a little bit more balance than I think I do at times, but it's something, just another thing that I can really point back to my time on I Street.
Great answer.
It is a great answer, Luke. I'm gonna stay there a little bit, Luke. Talk to us about being a college student. You gain a lot more what people think is freedom, like less time during the day in terms of your class hours, opportunity to not have to listen to mom and dad. You become you have the opportunity to grow and become a man. What are some of the things that you felt like you learned from I Street that you were able to carry over to Brown that allowed you to be able to be ready right away when the moment was called for you to step up?
Yeah, that's a great question, Coach. And the thing that I really point to is the schedule. And Gonzaga did a good job, obviously, of giving us a schedule throughout the day of classes and then practice and then film, whatever it may have been. But like you said, once you get to college, you kind of have that freedom. So that's where you need to learn that self-discipline that got instilled at me during my time at Gonzaga. Like I was saying earlier, you need to put in the extra work, so factor that into your schedule. So if you have a 9 a.m. class, say, hey, I'm going to wake up and get shots at 8. And then I'm going to eat at this time. And then I'm going to go watch film at this time. And then I'm going to go back to class. And then I'm going to go to practice. And then I'm going to watch film after practice. Then I'm going to have dinner. Then I'm going to do my work. But since I would have that scheduled out the day before, it was always pretty easy for me. It's kind of like a non-negotiable type of thing of, hey, once I set this out, I'm going to do it. And it's just non-negotiable whether it gets done or not. So once I make that schedule, something I learned at Gonzaga, it really made my life a lot easier.
Caleb, when I hear you say that, I mean, Luke, I hear you say self-discipline. Like, I've got to be self-disciplined to go put in the extra time for extra shots, film time with my coaches. Like, talk to these young men and women who are listening to you for them to understand that, like, it's not just being able to just do the work that's tasked to you, but being able to even do the extra, to go the extra mile to be the best student athlete I can be.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I remember when I was first coming in as a freshman at Brown, my dad said to me, he said, hey, you can either go and use this opportunity to go to Brown as just another step in life, or you can go and be a great lacrosse player and dominate life rather than just slide through and just kind of skate your way through your 4 years and get a degree. And that really hit me hard. I was like, I have this opportunity. I'm gonna really do everything I can to make the most out of it. And I'm not just going to be a guy that just is on the team. I'm going to be someone that goes out every day and really gives it my all. And whatever it takes to do that, I'm going to always have that in my mind, and I'm going to be using that to push me.
Luke, I always attribute the multiple sport athletes, and again, a place like Gonzaga, it's not easy to play, or at least at that level, multiple sports, but kids do it. But I'm convinced the success we've had is because of two-sport guys, and two-sport guys like you, especially in the sport of football. Talk to the kids again about playing as many sports as you can growing up, as long as it takes you, right, as far as you can go with it, because you had so much discipline in both sports, and I know you love playing both sports, but again, that's hard to do. But talk to the importance of, what that meant to you.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I arguably sometimes look at myself as a football player who plays lacrosse, because once you have that, whether it be basketball or lacrosse or football, once you have that experience from another sport, you can use it in the other one. So, I mean, I played safety in football when I was at Gonzaga. I always used the physicality I learned in football to create separation in lacrosse or ride hard in lacrosse that I probably, had I not played football, I wouldn't have. And I mean, it all goes back to the things you learn as a little kid, whether that be me playing 8th grade basketball and knowing how a zone works on defense and knowing how to exploit a zone when you're on offense. So it's really the 2 sport or the 3 sports that you get. The experience is invaluable, and it helps keep you grounded and just gives you such a different perspective of things that can help you in the other sport that you end up playing long term, like I did with lacrosse.
Thank you.
Luke, Coach Daly has a resume, which is nothing less than impressive. Historically, his teams know how to put up goals. I think he set records over with the points or the goals that his teams would score over at Tufts. What adjustments in your game did you need to make to play Coach Daly's, and Brown's style of lacrosse?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Obviously, when I came to Brown, I was like I said earlier, I was very well prepared with the fundamentals, and you can't overlook the fundamentals ever. In my opinion, I think, like we were saying, the little things become big things. So I had that, so then I could focus more on the run and gun and the tenets of Coach Daly's offense and those various things. So my preparation from playing under Coach O'Neill at Gonzaga really helped me. So when Coach Daly came in and said, hey, these are 3 things you need to focus on today, the fundamentals were already in the back of my mind because I knew that I had them. It's second nature because of practicing stick skills every day, getting on the wall at Gonzaga every day, so that I could really well adapt to dodging when the ball's in my stick. And if the ball's not in my stick, supporting the guy to my left and right. And if I'm not doing that, being a shooter at all times. So obviously, whenever you switch offenses or switch teams or whatever it may be, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. But once you have those fundamentals, then it makes it a whole lot easier. So that's something that really, really helped me adjust to Coach Daly at Brown.
I bet it did.
Luke, Coach Turner here, Luke. Why didn't you tell me about the basketball, man? I'm disappointed you didn't give me a shot. Come on.
I don't think
why am I finding out about this now?
Wait, we used to play. Luke will remember. We used to play a lot of pre-morning before school pickup games. Yeah. Luke, you remember those games, right?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Nobody. You and Nick would actually like take charges in a pre-workout at 6:45 in the morning. Luke would come down the lane. I'm telling you.
No,
like that's why I was like, we are going to win a lot of games because these kids compete, Luke, and I'm kind of going off it, but I knew it's how hard they compete in everything they do.
Casey, it's funny that you said about the charges. So I don't
know if he did, but he would die for loose balls. I guarantee you that.
But even so, the extra effort plays we're talking about.
Yes.
And I'm disappointed now. I'm upset.
No, he'd finished at the rim.
But seriously, like someone asked me today through a text, another coach, good friend of mine from North Carolina. He asked me to talk about some important stats, like what do you stat that's really important to you? And one of them was we stat what we call kills. Kills are 3 possessions in a row with stopping the other team from scoring.
Right.
And we try to see how many of those we can get a game.
Right.
But the other was taking charges. Dude, you would have started.
You had a spot for him, huh?
Luke, you would have started. That is something that's so important to me. But I know we've taken it into another direction. I'm gonna go back to you. Luke, I was so impressed as a coach from afar watching you and what you did on I Street. Talk to me about, and it doesn't even have to be a Gonzaga. I want to hear from you at the age of, how old are you now?
23.
At 23, tell the listeners your greatest moment in sports.
Wow. That's a tough one. I would say my greatest, I'd say probably the most meaningful moment I've ever had in sports was my junior year at Gonzaga when we beat St. John's after Dominic Petty died. I mean, we were down, I think it was 17-3 at half. Dom's funeral had been that morning. And then we come out second half, win the game 20-17. And it was just that was really when I felt something that you can't really put into words about Gonzaga as a community, as a school. And it really showed that there's no place like it. On top of that, I mean, my grandfather was Gonzaga class of 54. My dad was class of 84. They both were there to share that memory with me, wow, which was really, really meaningful as well. But that was just something that I'll never forget. I'll never forget the feeling. And I don't think you can ever even draw up again.
That's amazing.
That's serious stuff.
Absolutely amazing. Luke, tell me a little bit about summer officer candidate. Kind of dive into that a little bit. Sort of what was it like? Are you going to continue that going ahead? Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So after my sophomore year, I went to OCS for the Marine Corps, and then I was supposed to go the following summer. Ended up hurting my shoulder, so got delayed a little bit. But I'm going back this summer, and really looking forward to it. And actually, funny, there was a guy who's retired now, but was in the Marine Corps for several years, and I was talking to him before I even went, and he was like, the only thing that I can compare the brotherhood in the Marine Corps to is Gonzaga. It's the only thing I've seen like it, which really, really had an impact on me. And so going through OCS was definitely difficult, but or a challenge, I guess is a better word for it, but something I will never forget. And another cool story, there was the senior lacrosse captain when I was a freshman, Jack Slater, who was there with me, and he called me the day before I went, said, "Hey, we're not allowed to say anything to each other, but every time I see you, we'll just pat our chest real quick." And after about 3 weeks, sleep deprived, body sore, lost about 5 or 6 pounds at this point, hadn't talked to my family, hadn't talked to anyone outside of my platoon for 3 weeks. I saw Jack, and he gave me one of those, and it just really lifted my spirit. Looking back on OCS, it's definitely something that I will, and going forward this summer, definitely an experience I would never trade for anything. You could really feel the brotherhood with everybody else, and it really pushes you to find out who you are inside, in your deepest of depths in your heart, who you really are and how hard you can be pushed. And it's really something that has helped me and has been something I can look back on for strength and fondly as well.
Appreciate that. And you and Jack Slater, just two of the all-time greatest doing that. So thank you for that, and thank you for that answer, Luke. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Luke, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. We know your season was cut short in the spring, but here's hoping you get to return to the sport you love in this, your senior season. Gentlemen, what do we have to say to Mr. McCaleb?
Luke, thank you so much for joining us on the episode today. Your answers to our questions were unbelievable. And, man, we wish you the most and best success as you finish out your career at Brown, and know that I Street's always home. We'll be waiting there for you.
Luke.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Speaking of I Street, in a year or so coming back, love to see you on those sidelines, the football sidelines, the lacrosse sidelines. Maybe not cheering, but actually coaching. I think you'd come right in there and fit.
There we go. I'm in.
Right in. But again, like I said, I wasn't joking. As soon as we were talking about this podcast and guests, I said we got to have Luke McCaleb on here. You're just one of the all-time best, and your family, amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and thank you guys so much. It's really my pleasure and absolute honor to be asked to come on the show this week, and really, thank you, and I'm proud to be a Gonzaga alum and to have two men who represent the Gonzaga community like you guys, and it's an honor playing under you guys and being able to be here tonight. Thank you so much.
God bless you, Luke. Thank you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, senior captain from Brown University, Mr. Luke McCaleb. Thanks, Luke. Gentlemen, you said he'd be a good interview. And that young man has a good head on his shoulders. He knows where he's going, and he's not afraid of the big moment and the challenges.
He's
everything you want in a lacrosse player.
He's everything you want. I mean, he's the kid you look at and say a parent's coming for an open house or a Eagle for a Day visit or any shadow visit, whatever it is. And you're like, that guy over there, that's the finished product. That's the finish. Right. That is the ultimate finished product. I mean, think about his resume. There's no mystery why he was a two-time captain, a football captain, a two-time captain there.
That Brown.
Doing the officer candidate school, straight A's, socially just so fun to be around, has lots of he's just a good family kid, and he's the best. He's the best. So proud of that guy.
Rock star.
You know him as well, yeah.
Rock star. I mean, Casey said it all. There's nothing else that I can say on top of that other than, just watching him. He's the kid that you want your son to model. Like you want any young man that walks, especially for us on I Street, he would be, you put the Mount Rushmore up, he's on there. He'd be the model of what you want a young man to be able to exemplify when he walks through those doors and certainly walks out of our doors.
There you go. But the balance of it too, it's not like he can just balance all that. He has fun with his buddies. He has fun with the team. But then when it's time to go, it's time to go. We're in the weight room, we're going.
Yep.
Morning workout at 6, we're going. Pick up basketball before a workout.
Coach Turner knew nothing about.
No, I knew about the workouts, but I didn't know he had that a little bit of hoops in his game.
That's serious.
I didn't know it was that serious.
And then, look, again, it all comes. He mentioned his family. It comes from his family at home and just surrounded by good people. But he loves Gonzaga. And Brown had University
I don't know that I would have been able to take him away from you, but Coach Travers, you're lucky. Because I would have been trying to steal him from football.
He'd do all three.
He could have done all three easily.
Triple sport athlete. All right.
Oh, good.
Gentlemen, thanks for having Mr. McCaleb on. And Krissy, please take us to break.
Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs that stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic. You'll find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
If you are looking to increase sales and gain exposure, partnership opportunities are available. Contact our producer, Kurtis Cross, today to get started. Email turneroneillpodcast@gmail.com to get started.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by Real Estate is more than just houses. It's about people, too. The Tamara Cusick team offers an all-inclusive approach, making the home buying and selling process efficient, financially smart, and stress-free for you. From home prep-up to complimentary staging, expert counsel to an experienced and qualified team of professionals, let's chat houses. Visit www.tamaraforhomes, that's the number 4.com, or call 301-780-4663. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest was a 3-time All-WCAC basketball player under Coach Steve Turner. Also earning All-Met honors, he was a 4-year letter winner at Gonzaga. Going on to play for Cornell University, Jordan Abdur-Ra'oof now joins us as he takes a TO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jordan Abdur-Rauf. Jordan, how's it going, fella?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent.
You got me hyped up over here.
Oh, okay. Well, look, we thank you for joining us and taking the TO. I think you know the gentleman in the studio. Coach Turner and Coach O'Neill, please greet Jordan.
Jordan, my brother. This is Coach Turner. Thank you so much.
How are we doing, Coach?
Man, I'm good. Thanks, man, so much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate you. Excited to have you. Excited for you to embark some wisdom on these youngins that are going to listen to the podcast this week.
Jordan, Coach O'Neill here.
Try my best.
Jordan, Coach O'Neill here. It's been a while. It is great to hear your voice. We miss you down on I Street, but thanks for taking a TO with us tonight. Appreciate it.
Of course, thank you both for having me. Two extraordinary men that have had huge influences on my life. So happy to give back any way I can.
I appreciate it.
Jordan, look, man, I enjoyed seeing you play down on I Street. You probably don't remember me. It was a treat to see you on the basketball court. But let's break away from that and tell me about the transition from being the Gonzaga student to being a Cornell student. For any young man going from high school to college is a big jump. You didn't take a jump. You took like an eon leap when you decided to go to a place like Cornell, which obviously they decided they wanted you as well. Tell me about that jump and that leap and how Gonzaga prepared you.
Gonzaga did an absolute excellent job of preparing me for Cornell. I felt like when I got to college, I was more confident in who I was as a person, just from my experience at Gonzaga, and the things that school prepares you with. I still think about the topics that we covered in our ethics class, for example. Basketball wise too. I mean, you're playing with some of the best people in the country. It still is a huge jump to the college level. But Gonzaga does a great job of preparing you. I'll never forget, like when I was in college, I always told myself, like, look, you used to wake up at 6:30 in the morning, drive into DC, have practice from 5 to whenever at night, and get home at like 9:30. I was like, you know what, you were made through the fire, and whatever comes next, you'll be able to get through. And on the academic front too, Gonzaga definitely is a great institution. I still had my missteps at Cornell, but I made it through.
Good man.
Jordan, Coach here. Talk to everyone about using basketball as the vehicle to be able to take advantage of one. You took full advantage, in my opinion, of Gonzaga in the way that you needed to, by being who you were on the court, but more importantly, being who you were around the school and as a student, and as a family. You and your family very tight. But talk to the listeners about how you use the ball to gain an opportunity to also go to Cornell, and then talk about how having that experience put you in position to open doors.
So my view on basketball was use the game to take you to places that you wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. So when I was in middle school, I was looking at all the WCAC schools, and I told my mom, I'm like, all right, let's go to the best academic institution. And, that led me to Gonzaga. And then, I still remember my freshman year, you had me turn in a list of schools that, just pipe dreams. And I was like putting Arizona, University of Maryland, like big state schools. And I just realized, like, hold on a second, let me, I'm getting things done in the classroom. Let me see if I can take this a whole other direction. And then that's when, the Ivy League kind of came front and center, and I was like, let me see if I'll be able to do this. So, not to say that I couldn't have gotten into Cornell without basketball, but it definitely was a help. And then while at university too, just being able to leverage every opportunity that you have because of the sport, right? Like basketball helped me get into Cornell, so I felt like I owed the university to take advantage of the opportunity that they gave me.
That's a great answer. This is me again, and I normally would be passing around and letting someone else ask you a question, but you said something just now that made me go back to your 8th grade year. And one of the things that every student has to do to be able to get into Gonzaga is write an essay. And you just talked to that. You just spoke to the essay that you wrote. And it's always been the most unique essay that I've read since I've been the head coach or even been an assistant coach at Gonzaga. And you did your essay to the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. And I'll never forget that essay. I still have it in my email box from being able to read it. And it really, I mean, every time I think about it, it speaks to who you are, how you handle yourself, and the way that you were able to put into who you are as a man for others, and why you would fit into Gonzaga through a Dr. Seuss rhyme. It's incredible, So I just had to bring that.
I gotta read that again. That would be fun. I still remember writing that and talking to some of my friends. I'm like, this is what I'm gonna submit. I was nervous, but I loved it personally, so I'm happy I went with it. You got to be able to stand out.
Jordan, Coach O'Neill here. I always like to ask a lot of the guests, is there anything that you look back on, and it could be high school, and it can be at Cornell, that you would change, or something you'd tell 15-year-old, 18-year-old Jordan, do this differently? And
if I could go back to like, obviously I'm very, very happy with where I'm in life.
Sure.
I don't have any regrets, just to level set with everyone. Going back to high school though, I wish I took more advantage of the things Gonzaga had to offer. Like I wish I did more service work. I wish at sometimes like Gonzaga is such a unique place, taking the train into DC, being in that community, being able to help out at the McKenna Center, like all those things are what makes Gonzaga such a unique experience. And, when you get into university, wherever you go, whether you're in a college town or a big city, like the experiences you get from going to Gonzaga, not only in the classroom, but even commuting, the friends that you meet, like all of that is almost like sacred. Once I get back into DC, I'll take the train down and get into Union Station. It's just like a flood of positive memories.
Right.
So really, just even in the dark times where you're staying up late studying for a honors bio exam or whatever you have, just try to remember that these are going to be some of the best days.
Great answer.
So, Jordan, how would you say playing under Coach Turner prepared you for your next step in athletics? I know he builds great core young men, aside from basketball, but he builds and he takes, these athletes. You were one of them, and he makes, a good guy great, or a great guy even better. What were some of those core things that you took, and when you got on the court, that 84-by-50 at Cornell, you said, yep, Coach Turner taught me this one. How did that work for you? What was that like?
I think, on the defensive end, honestly, like college basketball, like when you first get into workouts, it's not a joke when they're like, you're really not doing an offensive drill until you have the defensive rotations down.
Wow.
I felt like I was able to go in and understand like where my body needs to be positioned so I can't get back cut, or being able to communicate, talking loud enough. Those were some of the best things. And then also too, like just being confident in yourself and, going out there, like having that belief, like ingrained in who you are. Like I didn't even shoot threes in high school. And next thing you know, I'm launching them up in college. So, just having that confidence there. And then honestly, the defensive front was the big thing. And obviously the Gonzaga offense, running a Princeton offense and heading into the Ivy League, that's super helpful too. A lot of that stuff, playing as a point, top of the key. I already knew a lot of that. So,
absolutely.
Jordan, we talked a little bit earlier just about, taking advantage of every opportunity. I really feel like watching you through the time you were at Cornell, I just kept seeing you step it up, continuously step it up. And you started a series called Ivy Untold. Tell the listeners what that is and what made you bring that out and get it started.
Yeah. So my sophomore summer, so I was heading into junior year. I was actually working for John Williams, Mr. Williams, a great Gonzaga alum. And Fisher versus the University of Texas was brought to the Supreme Court, and that was challenging affirmative action. And I just thought, like, that's crazy. I really, really believe that, getting different people in the door at these universities is such a huge value add, and that having diversity of thought and experience makes these universities a better place. So that really was when I first had the idea. I thought, like, why don't I make a website? I can have a whole bunch of different people. I'll have an editor who will help them write the story and get it out there. But it's more like Players Tribune style, right? So we were more asking probing questions. And the success from that was a huge hit. I honestly didn't imagine it. The next thing you know, it's like, Cornell Daily Sun is writing about it, and a lot of the local newspapers were picking up the articles and all that. So it was a great experience.
So that kind of leads us to our next question: life after Cornell, life after basketball, Artists Untold. Let's hear about that.
Yeah. So I graduated in 2018. I joined the real world, and I felt like I didn't have this like side project. I felt like a part of my hustle was missing. So obviously with the Ivy Untold experience, I knew the power of storytelling was immense. But the one thing I really wanted to be able to do this time was have a component for economic empowerment. So I ordered a shirt from this artist I had been following on Instagram for years, and just wanted to be able to support. The shirt was like low quality. It was itchy. I washed it once, and like the waist shrunk more than the shoulders. It got all messed up. And the idea just kind of like popped in my head. I was like, wow, I can probably handle this, and just make her life easier. So I pitched the idea. I talked to a ton of artists, and Artists Untold was born in January. So we partner with underrepresented artists. We make streetwear. Now we handle fine art too, and they get a portion of each sale. So it's gone crazy. We have like 16,000 followers now on Instagram. We get like between 10 and 25,000 visitors a month. We're really taking off. I'm excited about it.
Well, I took a look at some of it, and it's really good stuff. Really good stuff, fella.
Jordan,
thank you.
Coach O'Neill here again. You've always had, even when you were freshman year, just this calm demeanor to you. Obviously, clearly on the court, blocking a big shot, grabbing a rebound, throwing one down. There was that. I'll say this. I think he's like in the top 5 to 6 of guys that, I've been an assistant AD a long time that I've seen that could just get up there. Oh, unbelievably get up there. But I'm getting away from my question here. But that calm demeanor, that smooth, just calm, where does that come from? How have you always been that smooth? Even in high school, most high school kids are awkward and kind of, he's just been the coolest cat.
Just Mr. Cool, huh?
But where does that come from? Is that something where you're like, okay, this is who I'm going to be? Or does it come from family or something? Or talk to a little bit about that.
I think, it's that's a tough question. It is something I've always had. I feel like I've gotten a little, probably a little bit more anxious as I've gotten older. You get more responsibility and you're like, oh my God.
It gets worse.
But, growing up, I feel like my mom, I grew up with my mom most of my life, like after middle school. And I feel like she's pretty quiet, reserved, like doesn't like huge crowds of people. And then my dad is like really, really outgoing and super talkative. So I feel like between those two, I have like some super weird mix of traits that like one side of me is like crazy extroverted, and the other side is, this introvert who really likes to listen and hear people and, understand how they work. I feel like it's kind of a combination of, genetics and then just how I was brought up.
Well, it works.
And then also, the world keeps on moving, like time doesn't stop. So, you can't get too caught up. Like Mr. Kilroy always says, let the water roll off. And that's a quote that stuck with me since, freshman year math class.
Great answer.
You kind of answered my next question.
Uh-oh.
but it's good. I'm gonna bring one back. We're gonna have a little fun. We had our starting five today, and we were asked who are the four people we would want to sit down and meet. Was it
sit down and invite to dinner?
Invite to dinner. Who are those four people living that you want to bring and sit down to dinner?
Barack Obama, LeBron James, Kamala Harris. I think it would be interesting to Tiger Woods popped in my head. I feel like he has had quite the life. I'd want to talk to Tiger too.
Fascinating, because you hit 3 of the 4 that we hit in some combination. We left out LeBron. I added,
but I had his guy Mav.
You had Mav.
So
you had Mav.
Still in the same wheelhouse.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I'm just the biggest LeBron fan. I love LeBron.
And he's the LA Laker, who are the world champs, and that's my team. So thanks for bringing that up.
Started something, Jordan. You just started something.
I'm talking about Kareem and the Sky Hook.
Play the music.
No. I'm just doing the math here, and I looked a couple things up. I probably said Jordan's name at Purple Eagle Madness.
For sure.
Okay. So we have met him, and I've probably read his bio. I wish I would have known. I would have pulled his bio out of my archives there. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Jordan, we want our listeners to get to know a little bit more about you. If not basketball, what would have been your sport? That's my question, my last question.
So my quarantine sport that I picked up was tennis.
I was going to guess racquetball.
And that is so obviously, golf is another sport I want to pick up, but tennis is I've really enjoyed playing tennis during quarantine. It's really, really different because you're the only person to blame. Like, it's just you. And then at the same point in time, it's like I don't even get upset playing tennis because I don't have any baggage from the sport. Like if I played, I play in a few men's leagues. Well, obviously not with coronavirus right now, but playing a few men's leagues in New York, and it's like after some games, it's like I would be as mad as I was after losing a college basketball game. I'm like, why am I so upset? But tennis was just a fun sport to pick up. I felt like I was able to play it pretty naturally, and obviously being an athlete is helpful in any sport, but it's different enough and new enough that it was just fun and engaging.
That's awesome. Jordan, last question. I asked this of Luke McCaleb earlier. Greatest sport moment?
The block. LeBron's block in the finals. Gotta be.
No, your greatest sports moment.
Oh, my greatest. Oh, man. Oh, probably that alley-oop. I want to say Bryant threw an alley-oop. It was like I came out of nowhere and dunked over everybody.
And I remember that one very well.
I think we were playing O'Connell, I want to say.
I think it was.
And then there was another memory from Alhambra. Nate Britt had missed a layup, and we were playing PBI. And I remember I literally took the ball out of the other guy's hands who was trying to get the rebound and dunked over him. So I like that one a lot.
I got him on film, so if you ever need him, let me know.
I love it.
I might have to remind some folks.
Put them on notice.
I love it.
Jordan, we thank you for taking the TO with us today. Please tell our listeners where they can find you, Artists Untold, on social media.
Artists.untold. ARTISTS UNTOLD. And then my personal account is J_bot12.
J_bot12. Ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate having this young man on the show. He once again shows us the type of young man that turns into a man who's in service for others, a man for others from Gonzaga College High School and from Cornell University. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jordan Abdur-Rauf. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
J-Bot, appreciate you. Talk to you
guys
soon.
for having me.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Enjoy.
So it's a common theme. A couple things. One, I didn't mention about after Luke's interview, but they all talk about that time management piece. He didn't say the words time management, but it's fitting everything in and knowing you got to put in that extra work. Well, I got to get up a little bit earlier and this, that, and the other. But George's as smooth as they come, isn't he? You said it.
Me and Coach Hill, who was one of my assistant coaches, and he helped Coach Jordan. We've always said it, like, he could be the next black president.
Right.
Like, real talk. Like, he just he has that it about him, and it doesn't matter what he's kind of like the Midas touch. Whatever he touches is going to turn to gold, and I'm so proud of him. I'm excited for whatever is next in his journey.
Now, what is he doing full time?
He's an analyst for Morgan Stanley.
Okay, all right.
Look, my favorite part of that interview was him talking about coming in the train, right? And it could be dark, it could be rainy, it could be anything. He's like, just don't take that for granted. The opportunity you had to go in there into the nation's capital, to be able to just do the work you got to do. And I love that he talked about, I'd love to do that more service, go back and do more service. He just recognizes all those things. He's smooth. Reminds me of like Rick Fox. Just
a smooth cat, right?
But fun to watch. And you know, works his tail.
What does he go, like 6'7", 6'8"?
He's about 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah.
His springs, 7-footer. he would just like, there would be times guys, our guards would throw oops to him, and everyone else would jump. They're on the way down, and he's just still floating up there.
Why do I feel like I saw that O'Connell dunk?
You probably did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably did. He's had those. He named 2 good ones, but he had a bunch of them. Like,
was that on Asht or at AU?
Well, the one that I can remember the most is we have a picture of it is at AU.
I think I was there.
We had it as a banner, and I mean, literally, he's above. His feet are at everyone else's heads, and they're just kind of looking up.
Right. Yeah, I remember. I saw that. I don't miss much of your stuff at AU, and now I've got another coach that I've got to follow when things return to normal. Not in March, though. Not when you're playing in March. It's too cold.
It'd be chilly.
It's too cold. I'm going to catch one of your late April games.
The best shot will be at late April. Yeah, we'll make sure. Make that happen.
Make sure you're playing in May.
And then we'll go out to dinner.
At the Islands 4 Ps, or where is it?
We go up to the Dubliner, right?
The Dubliner, that's what it is. All right.
That'd be nice. Bring the family down.
It's a date. Are we having a reoccurrence or reemergence of the bromance?
Here we go.
Did you invite me out on a date? Did you invite me out?
talking.
I'm a married man. You better watch yourself.
Come on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a bit. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions. A-Squared is the go-to source for home and office network and audiovisual solutions. They will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our friends of the program: Richard Butts Jr., Jean and Clorinda Carter, Sean Clifton, Paula Cross, Justin O'Neill, Susan and Brendan O'Neill Sr., Amy O'Neill Richard, Damian and Brooke Stevenson, Marcus Taylor. If you'd like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Submit an Idea.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray Cruz. Take advantage of historically low mortgage rates for your first, next, or refinance mortgage with Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray believes the home mortgages should be about relationships. With rates as low as 2.875%, you can now save on your monthly mortgage or choose to cut years off your mortgage, saving tens of thousands. To learn more about your options, call Ray Cruz at 301-761-4600. 2278 or apply online at raypcruz.com.
Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Welcome back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I am joined as always by coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill of Gonzaga College High School right here in Washington, D.C. Coach Turner leads the men's basketball program at Gonzaga while Coach O'Neill heads up men's lacrosse and is the assistant athletic director. We thank each of you for listening and watching today's episode. Episode 19, let's get into our weekly sports wrap-up. Gentlemen, the NFL, Pittsburgh found their way into the win column again yesterday with a come-from-behind win against the Cowboys. How good is this Steelers team?
All the top teams go through scary games like that. It always happens. I don't care how good you are. In some of your best seasons, Coach Turner, where you were supposed to walk out of the gym and beat somebody, you're going to get those scares. And whether the Steelers were going into that thinking the Cowboys were going to roll, it just happens. But you find a way to win the game. And they won the game. How good are the Steelers? I'm going to go back to my defense. I think their defense is fantastic. And Big Ben is doing enough. And they got those young receivers, which they always seem to find. They're pretty good. And Kansas City, well, I know we're not there yet, but Kansas City is a great team as well in the AFC. They had a scare this weekend, too. So, two top-level teams getting scared.
Coach Turner,
pulling it out.
How good are these Steelers?
I think very good. And Casey touched on a couple of things. The defense is great. The young core receivers, I'm gonna follow back up with that. Ben is still Ben. I mean, say what you want, and they talk about everybody else and all these other quarterbacks in the league, but Ben is steady Eddie.
Right.
I mean, I know our AD Joe Rader's loving life right now, and his Pittsburgh Steelers are rolling. They're the only undefeated team. Thank God they beat the Cowboys. I definitely was supporting them yesterday.
There you go.
They make Monday great. But I think the piece you don't talk about, I think they got the best coach in the league.
Mike, can I say it first? You didn't even have this part in your script, and you touched on what you know what?
I don't think he gets enough credit. I'm sorry.
Mike Tomlin, 14 seasons. How many losing seasons has he had?
I don't know, but how many seasons do we hear that he might get fired or he might get let go?
I'm going to say 2.
He's had 0 losing seasons.
Wow.
He's had 2 or 3 8-8 seasons,
right.
But he's had 0 losing seasons as a head coach.
Wow.
And I know George Marshall's wife loves him. I know my man Night Train in Wisconsin loves the Steelers. And he's a local guy.
And I know the Pats get so much credit and well deserved for the organization and kind of how they fit pieces in. But Pittsburgh's kind of done that too.
Yeah,
they just don't have they don't have the Super Bowls in terms of maybe what the Pats have to count for it. But every year they're in the thick of things because they find a way to fit their pieces in to who they are as a team and as a system.
Tomlin's got one, I think.
One.
He's got one.
Well, maybe this is that year. And their defense is showing up because when the offense is not putting up tons of points,
sure.
I think they've won their last 2 or 3 games by 12 points.
I watched that game and they just looked like they never were rattled or worried that they were going to lose. They just kept doing their thing, and when they got their opportunities, they took advantage and took care of business.
Talk to me about the Bucks. The Saints destroyed the Bucks yesterday. What happened there? Tom did not put up a TD.
I couldn't really believe what I was watching, and
right?
And you know what?
You look like Drew Brees.
And I think the Bucks couldn't believe what was happening either last night.
I agree.
They were stymied.
The look on their faces was just they're dumbfounded.
They look like they were in utter shock.
And how crazy the 2 all-time leading touchdown passing quarterbacks going back to back, and Brees is like, well, you know what? I'm just going to take the lead here, and then some, and then some. How about all the shots they put on Antonio Brown in that game? And he's first game back and he's there. And
right.
No, I'm not saying it's on that one, but
no,
I think the Bucks will be back. And look, flip side of that, we go with the Steelers, right? Getting a scare. Great teams find a way to win those tight games. Sometimes a kick in the butt is the best thing a team needs.
Sometimes too, to wake you up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Happy for Drew Brees, happy for Jared. My son, that's his team. He loves the Saints. But I'd hate to be the team playing the Bucks next week because I would put my money on Tom coming back to do something pretty nice next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And by the way, just randomly out of nowhere, how long is Frank Gore going to play? He's 37. He's third on the all-time rushing list, and he's playing tonight, the Jets.
I'm not looking at this game. It's not. I'm not turning around.
All right, well, I think someone just kicked the field goal. I don't know if they made it or not. We are circling the wagons again this week as the Buffalo Bills handled Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Should we start thinking of the Bills as a team who can make a little noise in the playoffs? I'm going to tell you, Josh Allen last year had no 300-yard games. He has 3 300-yard games and 2 400-yard games this year.
Anytime you do what you do to beat the Seahawks, of course you got to give them some props here.
Right.
I mean, Buffalo is slowly but surely building something nice up there. The Seahawks are
the Seahawks are definitely no slouch, but the stat that stood out to me today, watching a little bit of the ESPN, is they are yielding the most passing yards.
Yeah, they're terrible passing.
They're not
they're terrible in
defensive
defense.
Seahawk team.
Right.
So that could be a little bit of a mirage when you look at it. But
I'm always excited in seeing a team who's been in the cellar find its way to the top and have a chance. So go Bills.
And I know,
The Bucs have Carolina next week. They're at Carolina, just so you know.
well, I mentioned it before. Carolina gave Kansas City all it could handle. In fact, they were up 14, I think, on them early, and then they had a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. Albeit it was like a 72-yarder to try to win the game, but still.
The Bucs got a couple tough ones. They got the Rams, the Chiefs, coming up in the next couple of weeks. But those Bills, I think Stephon Diggs is key. They put in 4 receivers out there. They're I think I heard a stat. I think 30 of their first whatever plays, they had a ton of passes. They went right after that Seahawks defense, which can't stop the pass. So they knew what they were doing, and they came out. It worked. Rapid fire fashion. Raiders are 5-3. What are we thinking?
Pretend.
I'm gonna just say having a good season, but they're not catching the Chiefs.
Titans are 6-2.
Picked up a good win after 2 L's. Got the Colts this week. Got an opportunity to give themselves a little distance in their conference.
Keep riding that running back, baby. Just like
the Ravens, to me, are not a convincing 6-2.
I disagree. I still think they're a dangerous team, and I think again you have these ebbs and flows and ups and downs of a season. I've made a few points of it. That they're going to be in the thick of it.
Okay.
We know they're 2 losses to 2 of the top dogs in the NFL this year.
Right.
Chiefs and the Steelers.
Right.
They got 3 games. 3 big ones coming up? Where two of their next 3 are big. They got to play the Titans and the Steelers.
And I think they play New England this weekend.
They have New England this weekend.
Yeah, so
they'll get healthy real quick.
They should get healthy off of that. But then it's back-to-back Titans and Steelers. They've got an opportunity to show what they really are made of, or maybe they are what you think, Kurtis.
Here come the Dolphins.
This is the model of how you try to turn around a franchise.
Because they've been in the cellar for a hot minute.
I know, but then they finally
they got 2 of those.
And they do. And he looks sharp.
He looks ready.
They sit in the
quick.
They sit in a pretty good spot. 5-3, chasing Paula's Bills.
Right.
If Paula's Bills
slip up,
find themselves to be the old Bills, and Dolphins could be sitting pretty.
They could. And how cool to see Tua and Kyler Murray. Just these 2
they were going at it.
Wow.
Going at it. That was
so
fun.
NFL is going to be fun for the next foreseeable future.
Just stay COVID free.
Miami is Buffalo's played 1 more game, so they got a half game on them, and they'll get their bye and blah blah blah. But yeah, they're right behind them. Right now, we're looking at Buffalo at 7-2. We're looking at the Steelers at 8-0. Ravens at 6-2. We're looking at the Titans at 6-2. The Kansas City Chiefs at 8-1. I mean, this is going to get tight because you're going to have teams like the Houston Texans who are underperforming this year, but were doing some things last year, not making it. You're looking at the Cleveland Browns who made some noise to start, but here they go. And
you know what's sickening?
What's that?
No mention of our good old NFC East.
They never get love.
That's what is there to talk about?
No, I think it's sad. In my time, they were always in the talks. Right now, they have no chances of being in the talks.
No,
you can have a below 500 team.
You have a 7-9 team, or
it could be a
7-8-1. It could be 7-8-1. The Eagles had a tie this year, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're getting the 7 wins.
I don't. It's
Look at the Eagles'
It's rough to
schedule.
watch.
They've got the best shot, and they're probably the most talented or healthy. But man,
that NFC least is bad. They're 3-4-1 right now. You don't see them getting.
I could not believe Alex Smith was back in that game yesterday, and we were actually on the road, and it was. I looked down and believed that Kyle Allen had gotten hurt.
Yeah.
What?
Bad.
Ankle bad.
Oh, he's out for 4 months at least.
Easily.
Yeah.
So
I saw a tweet today.
Haskins back as the backup now?
Yeah, he is. All right, so this is what the Eagles have coming up. The Giants, well, I'm not going to talk bad about them because they just beat the Skins. They got the Browns, that's winnable. Seahawks, probably not. Packers, probably not. Saints, probably not. Cardinals, probably not. Cowboys, who knows? And then they come to Washington. So I don't know. Are there 4 wins in there? Show me. They beat the Browns. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Redskins. There's only 3 more wins.
Yeah.
They might go 6-9-1. They might go 6-9-1 and make it like that. All right, gentlemen, let's go. Notre Dame. We're going over to college football. Notre Dame. Did they make a statement on Saturday night, beating Clemson, albeit in overtime?
I don't know if they made a statement, but what I think is pretty cool that could happen out of this by having that win. This is the world's independent team. Could come into the ACC for 1 year, be the ACC regular season champions,
Right.
And dip.
and dip.
Like
and dip.
That's a trivia question, right?
What I will say is it was a great game. Like if you're a college football fan, that was one that was unbelievable to watch, and it's gonna be fun to watch it the second time around.
I hope it comes around another time. I think Clemson's going to be fine. They just do what they need to do. They get healthy and get some guys back on defense and Trevor Lawrence. But again, that young quarterback was fantastic.
I thought both quarterbacks.
I love the way. I don't know the Notre Dame's quarterback, but I love the way he competed. I mean, he's just. It was a great football game.
I mean, you're a Clemson fan, so you know what Clemson does to you. Their guys get to the quarterback. He found ways to never let them get him. He stepped up in the pocket many times to not get sacked. Then he was able to just move out of the pocket, find the right guy, and keep the ball moving. When you do that against the Clemson team, you're doing something pretty special.
Yeah,
Ian Book, is that him?
Yes.
Ian Book.
What a great Saturday night game.
Yeah,
which went deep.
That I forgot about. I was watching election coverage. You guys were talking about the game or something like, oh no, Adam said something like, damn, the game is on. Let me turn that on real quick.
Right.
And we caught it with maybe 2 or 3 minutes left, and then, of course, we caught the overtime.
Double OT.
Does Alabama deserve that number 1 spot?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they do.
I'm not a huge college football fan. I don't know. I just always see them up there, so I'm wondering, is it just for old time's sake? Or are they
You bump them up, and then Notre Dame bumps to 2, and then There's some wacky college football teams in the top 25.
There's going to be a lot of
There's someone at number 11 or 12 at 1-0.
There's
like Indiana or someone?
Well, yeah, Indiana's 3-0 now.
Well, someone's 1-0.
With
and they're like,
another win over Michigan. Okay.
Well,
what's going to happen there?
I was going to go there, but he already
We're going there to good old Jim Harbaugh.
Is it time?
He can't beat Michigan State. You know that.
You can't do it mid-season with these.
I don't think you do it. I don't think you do it, especially in the COVID situation.
You're not supposed to.
But he hasn't gotten over the hump the way that the Michigan fans would like to see. He hasn't won the big ones
over Ohio State,
and then to have this loss like this. Someone said to me this weekend he might be one to call his brother for assistant job.
How about that? Oregon is 1-0. And they're in the top 25.
Because the Pac-12
Wisconsin
just came back in.
Is 1-0. USC
Wisconsin
is
hasn't
1-0.
played in two weeks.
Well, they got COVID all up there. That's why.
But I'm talking about teams like
spending too much time going to the.
I'm talking about teams like Coastal Carolina, Liberty. That was good. Liberty. All those schools. He got you.
Steve, you did that. All right, go ahead.
But did you hear what I said? That you got teams like Coastal
Carolina is 7-0.
Is Liberty in there?
Liberty is 7-0.
I mean, all those teams. I mean, it's a wacky, crazy.
He said Coastal Carolina.
Hey, check
out. Are they in the NESCAC?
Check out. No, they're not in
the
NESCAC. But check out their pre-game fired up. No, post-game. Do you know what they do?
No.
They have whatever mascot it is. You got to look it up. Google it.
All right.
They do from the top ropes. They have a table. And whatever mascot comes in, I don't know if they're playing like the Eagles or something, one of the managers comes in, the players comes off the top ropes and just, bam, takes him out the table. And the coach is like, the whole locker room goes crazy. Look up Coastal Carolina. They
Player
are,
post game, Coastal Carolina. Is that what I'm looking up here?
Yeah, they're coming off the top
ropes. This is
ropes.
just the interview.
No, I'll pull it for you later.
Now we talked about the COVID.
The Notre Dame game.
I didn't like seeing that happen. Like you go from having the greatest win of the season,
and they rush.
next week. Come on, next week after the team could be out of the game.
That is true. Like, well, most kids. I think every kid had a mask on.
Really?
No, I'm
Did
joking.
you really just say that?
Come on. Thank you for laughing, Krissy.
Oh, here it is. The Coastal Carolina's hilarious WWE style post game. We'll get to that. Masters this weekend, gentlemen. You ready to watch some golf? You ready to see a green jacket be put on somebody?
Cue the music. I'm teasing.
Jim Nance?
Jim Nance.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching.
It's weird. Masters in November, but still fantastic.
All right, so here we go. This is it. Big win, big celebration. The boys are having fun.
Coastal Carolina making noise.
Oh, there's the eagle.
Here it comes.
Uh-oh.
Sunbelt, not NESCAC.
Okay.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
That's how they get down at Coastal Carolina, apparently.
They're having a good time.
Oh, man.
And they're in the top 25. So the Masters this weekend. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, Thanksgiving weekend. Were you spending some dollars on that one?
No.
Okay.
Let my neighbor spend, and then I'll
watch. The NBA returns on December 22nd with a 72-game season.
That's kind of what we probably thought, right? And was it normally around Halloween when the first...
When the ball is tipped?
Yeah, the first.
Right.
Yeah, that's about right. But, man, that's a quick turnaround.
It is a quick turnaround, but...
For some teams.
For teams that made it all the way through. Like the Lakers. They won the NBA title this year.
That's right.
I guess they'll be...
Not for the Hawks.
They'll be doing some loading up on rest.
You think there's going to be some time management or some load management?
Load management.
All right.
I think they should. I mean, if they're going to make a run back at it, they go back to back. They better keep LeBron healthy.
All right. So that is our weekly sports wrap up. Let's take us a break.
Be sure to listen at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Download the app and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
At Peace Players International, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer sport programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities of conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Submit an Idea.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com. Building your brand is an important part of your business growth. By partnering with Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. With thousands of listeners, subscribers, and website visitors, your company will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Our partners also benefit from our exposure on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, and Apple Podcasts. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand.
The 2-Minute Drill.
Ladies and gentlemen, back with another week of fantasy football, our man Joey T.
Hello, everybody. How we doing today?
All right, Joey T, Capitol Grill, downtown D.C. Talk to me about fantasy football this week. I want to hear about 3 guys who did what they were supposed to do on the field this week.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my boy, Derry Sanders himself. Christian McCaffrey came back from a long absence. And, boy, there was a little question about whether he was going to get used like he used to, but those were answered pretty quickly with 18 carries, 69 rushing yards, and a touchdown on the ground, paired with 10 receptions, 82 yards, and another touchdown through the air. That's what he's supposed to do. That's why you drafted him 1 overall. Unfortunately, he's a little dinged up, and it might be the Mike Davis show for a couple more weeks. So we'll see. Hopefully, we get him back for the playoffs. Second off, the Monday night game had a couple of wide receivers come out of nowhere and put up some big stat lines. Jacoby Myers, 12 receptions, 169 yards. I think he's got Cam Newton's trust going forward. I'd look to grab him if I can. And then one of my man crushes over the offseason, Brashad Perriman, went to the Jets. I thought he was going to be the number 1 wide receiver there all year, but injuries have slowed him down. He's finally back healthy and went for 5 catches, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which is what I thought he was going to be doing all year long. They are on a bye this week, so I would look to try to grab him if possible.
So you're just not going to talk about Josh Allen, huh?
Josh Allen did good. He's a G. He started on 3 of my teams this week. You are right about that. He's always quarterbacks been putting up big numbers this year, so I just like to talk about the no names.
All right, three games this year with 300 yards or more, 2 games with 400 yards or more for the first place Buffalo Bills. Talk to me about 3 guys who underperformed this week.
Oh man, well Corey Davis has been a wide receiver 1 pretty quietly this year. But the cops are looking for him this week because he put up a donut. I mean, 0 catches, no yards. Come on, Corey Davis, you're killing me.
So he equaled what I did this year or this week.
You could have done more than that. If you played with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry.
My man.
Darius Slayton, he started the season with a huge game week 1. He's flashed a couple, but he disappears like nobody else. And 1 catch for 6 yards. Against the Washington football team's number 1 ranked passing defense. It is what it is. Could have saw it coming, but hey, this guy needs a more boom week. And then lastly, Henry Ruggs, the first wide receiver taken in the NFL draft this year. We've seen rookie wide receivers going nuts all over the place. Henry Ruggs is not one of them. He's had 1 big game this year, 1 catch for 10 yards. You can't plug him in your lineup until you see more from him.
All right, Joey, as we move into the second half of the season, what do you think people should be thinking about in their fantasy leagues?
So now is the time to really start focusing on stadiums and weather games. For instance, it's getting colder, obviously, November, December. So some of those outdoor stadiums, especially the northern ones, are known for having bad weather. Sometimes it's just biting cold, sometimes snow, cold rain. So the Buffalo Bills, the Packers, Browns, Steelers, Bears, Patriots, Chiefs, those are all teams whose running backs should get a little bump going forward because in the air, it can be harder to throw the ball and catch and hold on to the ball when it's raining and snowing and super cold. Wide receivers should have a slight downgrade. I mean, obviously it's not an exact science, but if you're trying to if you're thinking about who to start or you have a lineup question and you're not sure, it doesn't hurt to look at the stadium and where the game's being played. Maybe that'll change your decision. On the other side of that coin, dome teams, the Cardinals, Falcons, Cowboys, Lions, Texans, Colts, and Saints, those are all high-powered, fast places to play, and they are never affected by the outdoor elements. You can always check the Roto Grinders NFL weather report. Go ahead and Google that, Roto Grinders weather report, and they actually give updates every week on stadium conditions, and that way it can help you set your lineup and make a better decision come Sunday morning.
Joey, it's more than just fantasy points with you. We're talking atmospheric weather conditions with Joey T. He's Capitol Grill, D.C., downtown D.C. He's Joey T. 5656 on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, get with our man, Joey T. and his 2-minute drill.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Good luck this week. Take care.
Thank you, Joey.
The final word is brought to you by
Healthy Baller. Become your own success story. At Healthy Baller, our team of specialists is committed to providing injury recovery and strength and conditioning training tailored to individual needs. Watching our clients break barriers fuels our passion for athletic development. With scheduled sessions or drop-in classes, Healthy Baller has a success story waiting for you. We offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thanks for listening to episode 19. We had a bunch of fun. We hope you have enjoyed listening and watching. We invite you to become a friend of the program. We rely on your contributions to bring this podcast to you each week. Contribution amounts start at $25, and of course, your contribution will get your name listed on our website and mentioned each podcast as a friend of the program. We're doing a big drive here. We're trying to get more friends of the program because in just a few weeks, we're going to start season 2. By the way, guys, we haven't talked about that. As soon as we go into our next, we take that little Christmas break or whatever we're going to do, we're going into season number 2.
It's been unreal. I told you guys, Mondays I look forward to. It's a great opportunity to get with you guys, have a little fun.
There you go.
Talk some real life stuff.
All
Talk
right.
a little sports. Get the boss lady over there running us on the board.
There you go.
We're having a good time.
We get Hollywood comes into the studio every
Hollywood
Monday.
walks in, lights go up. No, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. And again, I think the best is yet to come. We're having more fun.
I would agree.
Get more comfortable. Anything worth something just isn't just given to it takes hard work from you two and Paula. So thank you, Kurtis. Thank you, Krissy and Paula, for everything to make all this just go smooth. But yeah, the best is yet to come.
Well,
We've done some good stuff.
We are looking for new friends of the program, and if you're one of our old friends of the program, you are welcome to come back and continue to be a friend of the program. We want to get your names on the website. We also have advertising opportunities for businesses looking to gain exposure. Take a TO with us. We want to get you as an advertiser. Believe me, this is going to be the best money you've spent in your advertising budget because a little bit of a budget goes a long way with Turner and O'Neill when you take a TO with us. Catch us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, Twitter at Turn On Podcast. Go to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill on YouTube and just subscribe. I want you to subscribe so when we drop an episode, bam, it hits you right in your iPad, your phone, your computer. I want those little things. I want confetti on your computer when our episodes come up. That's what I want. Feel free to email your show questions, content ideas, comments, and critiques. Before we sign off, we must thank our engineer, Krissy. We must thank our engineer, Krissy. Thank you, Krissy. It says Paula here. I didn't change that in the script. Paula, you did a great 3 weeks. We thank you, Krissy. Thank you, and welcome back for episode 19. I must thank you two gentlemen, Coach Turner and Coach O'Neill. Thanks to our donors, sponsors, and partners, we encourage our audience to support those who support us. Gentlemen, any final thoughts?
2 great guests tonight. 2 wonderful, smart, bright young men who, to the parents out there, again, just continue to preach balance in the lives of your children, to keep working at those academics, and to just keep pushing forward and just compete. 2 great ones tonight.
We've talked about it on here before, our why. I mean, they're 2 examples of certainly a part of our why. And being able to bring them back and letting them talk a little bit about their experiences has been great. I knew they both would be unbelievable guests for us this week. Excited to see what's next for both of them.
Don't forget Thanksgiving. We will be on the hot seat. The ladies are going to take a TO. The wives are going to take a TO, which means they are taking over the podcast. Erica, Leah, and Paula will sit in chairs similar to these, and we're going to let them run the podcast. We're just going to let go and let them run the podcast. And they've got the best engineer in MoCo, certainly, and she's probably going to scheme with them as my guest. She's probably going to scheme with.
There might be plotting.
Uh-oh.
You see what I'm saying? All right. She's not even going to hide it. She's not even going to hide it.
I'm throwing it out there.
That's not fair.
You better prepare.
Oh my goodness!
Can we have alcohol at this episode?
Yes, bring it in. Fireball, baby.
Yeah.
Do what you do. All right, so the weekly quote is coming this way, but I'm going to need your help on this quote. I need you guys to answer a question. In a classroom full of students, a professor asks, it's not really a quote, it's more of a philosophy. If you had $86,400 and someone stole $10 from you, would you throw away the $86,390 or $86,000, the remaining part of it? Or would you throw that away to get the $10 back, or would you let it go? Are you going to cry over that $10 that is missing out of your $86,400 and forgive or forsake the $86,390? Or are you going to let it go?
Let it go.
Let it go.
You have 86,400 seconds in every single day. This time is so much more valuable than money. You can always work for more money, but once a second passes, you can never get it back, ever. Every time someone upsets us, it probably took 10 seconds. So why do we throw away the other 86,390 seconds worrying about it or being upset? We all make this mistake. It's time to start letting the little things go. Krissy, pull the plug.
Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, Peace Players International, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and Collins Funeral Home. Our donors, Redwood Investments, Justin O'Neill, donor, and Winsight Media. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to turneroneillpodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and or information being used on the podcast. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Google Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcast, and other popular podcast platforms. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Be sure to search and subscribe. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Partnership opportunities are available.